Hello, hello, Dr. Colleen and Dr. Mark here for live at 7:05.
On the button.
Yeah, we waited.
On the button.
Okay.
So we got a good one today.
Yep.
We got a good one.
We have lots of notes though, so we're going to be picking and choosing where to just slim it down a bit. We don't want to keep you for too long. Okay, where do you want to start?
Just tell us what we're talking about.
Well, you can see by the little emojis that we use in the description that we're talking about getting sick. And I know we've already touched on this topic a few weeks ago, but it bears repeating, and we're talking about it from a little different perspective tonight. What does getting sick really mean? Why do I do that when I say sick? Because we don't really use that term in our family or in our practice, and we'll explain that. We want to talk about why do we get sick, how can we stop getting sick so often, what can we do to prevent it, reverse it, stop it in its tracks if it does start to develop.
We're going to show you some products, things that we use, like what's in our medicine cabinet.
Medicine cabinet?
Yeah.
We don't have one of those either.
Right. So we're going to show you some things that are available that you can use in lieu of drugs and pharmaceuticals. But of course, everybody comes into this season and talks about getting sick, and so that's why we wanted to talk about it tonight, because we're already starting to hear the rumblings of it and people coming in. And
been hearing it. Yeah. I'm sure you have, right?
So there's hope. There's hope.
The first thing is with the whole getting sick thing, we don't need you to change what you call it, but just so you know, the reason that we don't really poke fun at it, we just try to be really accurate, and really with our children, we tried to teach them how to look at this very accurately. And what most people would refer to as getting sick, meaning developing a cold or a sinus thing or a fever or whatever, symptoms like that, is really an intelligent adaptation of the body in response to the environment it's been exposed to. It could be the internal environment, the external environment, a combination of the two, obviously, but it's an intelligent adaptation of the body. If the body is trying to burn off an invading microbe, a fever is the natural intelligent adaptation to that. Does it mean that you're sick? No, it means the body's doing its job. If you ingest food that is loaded with poison, your body's natural intelligent adaptation to that is vomiting, food poisoning. Does that mean you're sick? Well, you might look kind of sick, you might feel kind of sick, but it's actually a very healthy response. So that's why we call it adapting instead of getting sick. So that's
if you have diabetes, you have congestive heart failure, you have cancer, now you're sick.
Yeah.
But if you're dealing with some microbe, some pathogen, bacteria, virus, fungus, something of that nature, you're adapting. You're adapting to that microbe, and so that's what we call it. We say, okay, you're adapting. So now let's go about helping you get better. So just a little funny play on words, but words are important.
Yeah,
words are
and
important.
and by the way, not that cancer, heart disease, diabetes, those are adaptations as well, and those can in fact be reversed as
Generally,
well.
just they're more chronic.
Yeah, but tonight we're talking about short-term, more acute adaptations to the environment.
Okay, so let's get into it. Where do you want to start?
So I know we get people from around the world watching our live videos, which is awesome, or watching us later on YouTube. I forgot to tell you, click all the buttons to subscribe and watch our stuff.
Like it, share it.
Yeah.
They're all on our website now, just loaded up today. All the past ones.
LifetimeWellness.net.
They're all dated and titled, so they're all going to be on weekly. Yeah.
But if you happen to live in our general neck of the woods where we have winter months, then part of the reason that this has been claimed as cold and flu season is truly seasonal. As part of the source of that, we're exposed to the outdoor elements less in the winter months, less sunshine, less unfiltered sunshine to help our bodies produce vitamin D, less fresh air, more closed quarters when everyone goes back to school. So things can be spread more easily. So we're not denying that there isn't an issue. Yes, people do tend to express their health more readily at this time of the year, but there's a lot of reasons for that. Even in the season, in nature, we see the ebb and flow of what happens in plants and trees, where they shed things off and then they regrow again. It's the same thing in the human body. So some of it's
your
very
body
much
goes through
expected.
seasonal changes, just like we're a microcosm of the macrocosm. So there can be some similarities there. Yeah.
That was really deep.
But yeah, and it's, kids go back to school, kids go back to daycare. We like to refer to that as a living petri dish. So kids just get in contact with lots of stuff as soon as they get back into school.
Teachers and administrators and all the personnel that help out at all the schools at every level. And we have many of you that we take care of it, and you're the ones that really taught us that term. It's the petri dish that you work in. So,
it really is, yeah.
So what can you do? Because are you going to change everyone else's immune system and everyone else's response to what's going around? No, but you can take care of your inner terrain, and that's often what we talk about when we get on this topic of cold and flu season, is really just building an arsenal within you, building a system that is far less vulnerable. So one thing
and that's because a lot of these pathogens, they're very opportunistic. So they're going to take advantage of an environment that they thrive in, which could be, your toxic body, and they're going to love you. They're going to hang around, and they're going to come back for more. So maintaining a healthy terrain doesn't give them a chance. You're not providing them with the food they need to survive and so forth. So on one hand, you have to think about these pathogens are opportunistic. We are full of microbes. Bacteria and viruses, they far outnumber our own human cells. So we have tons of good guys that live in us and on us and around us. So why is it, we get sick? Why is it we come down with things? Well, the bad guys take advantage. When your guard's down, when your nutrition's down, you have you're overtired, you're overstressed, you're underfueled,
overtoxic.
Undernutrition. Is that even a word? Overtoxic, and we're going to talk about that probably next with it's
and
the holiday season coming up here, so massive sugar.
Yeah,
so we'll talk about that.
We'll definitely talk about sugar. But consider this: even though it's officially cold and flu season, I know we just don't buy into that. You may notice more people in your workplace, in your school, in your kids' school. You may notice that more people have runny noses, congestion, fever, blah, 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 blah. But there's always somebody who doesn't. Usually there's quite a few people who don't, or they don't all develop this at the exact same time. So why is that? Because in large part, so much of our immune system and our resilience is up to our inner terrain that we just talked about. But think about this, it also disproves a theory that we've either consciously or subconsciously bought into our whole lives, and that's the germ theory. That, something's going around right now, I'm going to catch it. You're not going to catch it.
If the germ theory were true, there wouldn't be a human left on the planet. We'd all be dead.
Right.
Okay, so our response to germs has more to do with that than the germ itself. We take, like ourselves as an example, we've been in practice almost 25 years, and virtually every week, we have our hands on people, our faces are close together with people who are adapting, and they're going through stuff. Every month out of the year, we have sick people coming in complaining of stuff, and we don't get sick all the time. Occasionally we'll come down with something, but it's minor, as quickly passes. But for the most part, rarely are we getting sick. And if the germ theory were true, we should be sick all the time.
Yeah, or dead, like you said.
Yeah.
So think about something else. A big part of why we wanted to touch on this subject tonight is you have to change the way you think about something before you change the way you're going to act regarding something, right? So changing the thought process, changing the way we talk about what's really happening. Think about the symptoms that you express when you are adapting or sick. Things like sneezing, coughing, maybe having a fever, getting swollen glands,
sore throat,
feeling excessively tired.
Yeah.
But think of how many of those things are really, again, by God's innate intelligent design, running the show, sneezing to get rid of the crap that's in your body, coughing to get rid of the pathogens. Not that, that's kind of gross, I know, and that's how things
fever
trickle.
Fever to cook off the bad guys.
Yeah, it's just intelligent
drainage to
design
get rid of stuff. Yeah.
for the body to heal and get well. And
So we've been taught by medicine that symptoms are bad.
Yeah.
Kind of across the board. And so we need to treat it so that you're more comfortable. Well, sometimes you got to be a little uncomfortable as your body's getting over how badly you've treated it and allowed things to happen. So don't treat the symptom, because that's your body's, many times that's your body's way of getting you better. It's helping you get well. And so suppressing a fever, generally not a good idea. Might prolong the fever or the sickness, just not a good idea. That's an inherent, innate mechanism your body has, God designed to kill off things and make you better. So, whatever it is that you're experiencing, just remind yourself you're adapting to something. So let's focus on the solution and not necessarily why you feel that way. And that's going to really help you, not just then and there, but down the road as well.
Yeah. So we know it's not comfortable. We've been there. We're going to talk in a minute or 5.
Yeah, we have some tools that can help.
Some natural things that can help prevent this uncomfortable adaptation from happening in the first place, can shorten its time span, can alleviate some of the uncomfortable symptoms without wreaking havoc on the rest of your body, like prescription and over-the-counter medications can do. And with preserving the integrity of your microbiome, your gut, which is a huge part of your immune system in the first place.
Yeah,
I just want to reiterate before Dr. Mark goes on that big part, when we say protect and take care of that terrain, the big categories that we're talking about is obviously your nutrition, what you're exposed to, what the good things that you're getting in, the good things that you're forgetting, the bad things that you're taking in, the toxins that are ripping apart your immune response. Certainly your mental, emotional health and stability. If you're chronically stressed, if you're chronically sleep deprived, those things will destroy your immune function as well. Your physical activity level or lack thereof, that plays a role. So there's so many things to consider. Yeah. It's not, well, in case I forget to say it later, I'm going to say it now. It's not because you have a deprivation of decongestants or antihistamines or any cold medication.
Deficient of a Z-Pack.
Yeah, that's not why you're getting sick. So you have to look beyond that and really start to rebuild health to prevent it and reverse these healthy adaptations.
Yeah. So let's just go through real quickly some of these things. First of all, I want to say one thing that's universally good application for anyone out there, just to not only help you overcome something, but to help strengthen your own reserve and your own immune system. And this has been shown, multiple studies, is get your spine and nervous system checked. Find a chiropractor, see your chiropractor regularly, especially during this season. If you're prone to this is the time to get on a more regular schedule, and we see it clinically for decades. The people that are getting adjusted don't get sick as often, they recover faster. There's been studies that have shown a clear link between subluxation in the spine and immune suppression. So that's valid and a great way to just help boost your system. Talk about cleaning up the diet, some of the biggies.
Anyone who's watching this, whether you're watching it live or after the fact, if you notice a big difference, particularly in head cold, sinusy type stuff, after you get adjusted, please leave that in the comments. Hey, there's my question of the day.
Yeah, I just remember.
You notice an improvement getting adjusted with particularly head cold and sinusy type symptoms, please leave that in the comments, because I think if everyone knew how prevalent that positive response is, there wouldn't be sinus remedies on the shelves at
it's great
drugstores.
With kids. Parents bring them in all the time. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So real quick, biggie when it comes to nutrition is sugar. And so again, Halloween's right around the corner, then we get into Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we're the season of desserts and treats and sugar, and we're just get overloaded. So sugar really dampens your immune response. It's like a dimmer switch. It just turns it down regulates it. We talked on an earlier video about how glucose and vitamin C are very similar structurally, so they compete for the same receptor sites with your immune cells, your white blood cells, your phagocytes, your lymphocytes. And so if you have high sugar in your diet, the vitamin C is not going to be as effective, and we all know that vitamin C is very effective for the immune system. So first and foremost, don't just pound the vitamin C, get the sugar down so your natural vitamin C that you're intaking can work. And so there's something that we've talked about, it's called the phagocytic index, and that is really a measure of those white blood cells, their ability to gobble up bad guys, bacteria, viruses, and things like that, even cancer cells. And if your blood sugar level is 120 or higher, your phagocytic index, your body's ability to help you, is downregulated or decreased 75%. That's a huge hit. And again, that includes cancer cells. So sugar is a big deal when it comes to immune function. Having a healthy microbiome, that is the majority of your immune response, is these beneficial microbes that live in us. They help us stay healthy. They defend us against bad guys. You need to keep a healthy gut, a healthy microbiome, and we're learning more and more about that. It's all throughout our body and on us, so more to come on that. I guess that's about that. Want to get into some little tools or solutions?
Yeah.
But that's the biggie. It's the biggie with sugar, especially with your kids. If you're finding that your kid just starts adapting frequently and they just get over something, and next thing you know they're sneezing or runny nose again. You just gotta draw the line. You gotta put on the nutritional pants and be like, no more sugar. It's done, because they're battling it's an uphill battle every time. So you really got to get control of that.
And keep two things in mind. I was playing devil's advocate earlier when we were talking about this, saying, oh, but Dr. Mark, my brightly colored neon fruit thing package says it's sugar-free.
Yeah, the gummy vitamins and the
loaded with artificial sweeteners, which are completely toxic, so that destroys your immune system as well. So don't fall for that. Yeah. But the other thing is, keep in mind, I know most of you know this, but when let's say we're talking about children and guiding them away from so much sugar, keep in mind that it's not just coming from candy and baked goods and sweets and desserts. That's your bread, your pasta, your pizza, your bagels,
mac and cheese, the breaded foods,
the crackers, the
cereals,
blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on
pancakes,
and on.
waffles, muffins, bagels, all that. It's sugar. It's not food. It breaks down the sugars rapidly. So those are other foods that contribute to that overload. And then your toast.
It's a standard American diet. Toast is also sugar.
Toast. Yeah, not a good breakfast food.
Okay, you're going through
Okay, so real quick, we got a number of products here that we're going to show you, just so you're aware. There are some examples of tools that are totally safe, no side effects, very effective. Many of these have been used historically for a long period of time, well before we had the age of antibiotics and other things. So these are tried, true, and tested. This is what we use as a family. This is what we offer our practice members in our office.
Not all at the same time. Don't worry.
Correct. I'm going to show you a number of things, because many of them are very focused, so they have a specific application for certain things. And so we've got a variety of things that we can choose from. We have options. Okay. I'm just going to start. The first and foremost that most people could really benefit from is this is a vitamin D, vitamin D3. It also has vitamin A and vitamin K2. Very important to combine those. Numerous studies show vitamin D way more effective than the flu vaccine for helping to prevent the flu. 5 to 10,000 IUs a day is generally what we recommend, and especially if you live in a northern state where we really get a decrease in sunlight, should be plenty. You can take way more than that. You can take 50,000 IUs and be perfectly safe with that. But vitamin D is a great addition, can really help your body defend itself.
And because that one's liquid, that's super easy to give children.
Yeah, kids can take that. It tastes great. It's just, right under the tongue, just hold it in, it's absorbed. I'm going to show you a couple other kind of all-purpose products that we've used for a long time. This little guy right here is called Agricep. I don't know if you can see that with the glare. This has been the longest standing supplement we've ever had in our office. We've probably been carrying this for 24 years. It's made of 4 citrus extracts: grapefruit, lime, lemon, and tangerine. This guy is antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, and antiseptic. Raving fans of this for years. They keep coming back for it. Very inexpensive. It's very concentrated. There's a number of ways to use that, so we can coach you on that if you're interested in some options. But this sucker will help to rid the body of bacteria and viral things. Let me back up and say that most people, when they're adapting and they have all the symptomology and so many people get put on antibiotics, they're just doled out like candy. Just know that from the chest up, ears, eyes, nose, throat, respiratory infections, the vast majority are viral. A lot of studies show upwards of 90-95% are viral. So that should be your automatic assumption. And before you take an antibiotic or decide to do that, you better get that lab positive that it's bacterial and a specific. Then you can really target an antibiotic if that's the route you want to go. But your automatic assumption should be it's viral, because that's the fact. So this sucker works great for all those types of things. Doesn't taste that great. It's very bitter. So this one's a little more challenging to get kids to take. But you can use it topically on things like plantar warts, which are viral, different things. Rockstar right there.
Yeah, hang on. Just because it tastes the way it tastes, I am a master at disguising this for children of all ages. I did since our kids were little. This was, for the longest time, the only thing they took if they started adapting, because they weren't good at swallowing.
Yeah, you gargle with that stuff for a sore throat. Awesome.
And beyond that, I had strep throat when I was pregnant, so I couldn't take anything gargled with it, and it was completely cleared up within 24 hours.
A lot of ways to use that one. This is a colloidal silver product called Argentin 23. We love this product as well. This one comes in different applications. So this one has a little sinus pump, so you can spray it right up into the sinuses. It also comes in a regular pump to pump into spray the throat or topically. So this is a colloidal silver. Colloidal silver has been used historically. And what's nice about the silver is the bugs cannot develop resistance to it. That's also true with iodine. Iodine is very antimicrobial in the body. But so the colloidal silver, they can't develop resistance like they do to antibiotics and other things. Very safe to use. Again, different applications for where you tend to have things. So that's another great product. These two here are in our home year round. This one here is called VIVI. This one's fantastic for viral things and bacterial things, but primarily viral things. The Attack, this is more of an immune support, immune boosting product, but we combine these two. So our kids now, they know if they're feeling anything, boom, they're heading into the kitchen and they're grabbing these right away. This guy right here, Rockstar, one particular component of this is called leptitania oil. That has been used, again, it's ancient. If any of you are familiar with the 1980 or 1918 flu pandemic, leptitania oil saved probably millions of lives, definitely tens of thousands in the U.S. alone. It's an ancient American Indian remedy and Ayurvedic remedy, but VIVI, awesome product. Combine it with the Attack to help boost your immune system. Those two are definitely standbys and mainstays there. We talked about the microbiome. And so it's important to protect that and to nurture that. And so yes, taking a probiotic can be helpful, but those are also getting very targeted and very specific. But it's not always about just throwing more probiotics in. But I do want to point out a couple. So this one is the big dog. It's called MBC, which stands for Microbiome Colonizer. One capsule has over 100 billion live and viable bacteria of a bunch of different strains that are beneficial. So this is our top one. So just to help, because that's your immune system. But we also have very targeted probiotics. So like this from Hyperbiotics, this one, I don't know if you can see that. That one's a little hard to read, but it's called Pro Kids ENT. So this is beneficial for kids with recurrent ear, nose, and throat infections. So now we're getting into more of a targeted approach that with those beneficial bacteria that are known to help support healthy tissue in those areas, and even healthy teeth. So, and we have a whole slew of probiotics, so they can get very, very targeted again. The last little group of products you probably haven't heard of before, but this is pretty exciting stuff. These are known as bacteriophages or phages, and they're actually viral products. So, a lot of people talk about probiotics and just the bacteria. Well, you have another whole ecosystem of beneficial microbes that are viruses, and they actually outnumber the bacteria. So what's cool about these are viruses that target specific pathogens. And so what's great is in lieu of antibiotics, you can use a viral phage to target specific bacteria. That's the only thing they'll go after and attack and destroy, and then what's left behind is food for the other guys that are good. So we have 3 of them in our office. One's called Ecovirome, so as the name implies, it would be beneficial towards infections that are, tend to be E. coli related. So, bladder infections, urinary tract infections, commonly E. coli based. This sucker works great, and in fact, in a lot of European countries and countries outside of the States, they've switched and are using bacteriophages or viral products in lieu of antibiotics, because we know just the antibiotic overuse is just destroying people's health. Another one we have is called pseudovirome for Pseudomonas aeruginosus. I think that's how you say it. It's a big, long, fancy name. Very opportunistic pathogen, bacteria, commonly found like in skin infections, like after burns, like hot tub use and things like that. It's just an opportunistic bug, so it's pretty common. So this one can target that. And then the last one we have is for more salmonella related issues, and this one actually comes in a little pump spray, because you can actually spray this one on your food. Like if you're concerned about salmonella poisoning in your poultry, like your chicken or things like that, you can actually spray your food with this and eliminate any risk there. It can also be used internally. So those are newer, they're not new in general, but newer certainly to the United States, but another very effective option in lieu of antibiotics. Much better option, in fact, very targeted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I want to give you one little Dr. Mom online tidbit, I guess. When another thing, Mark reminded me, when our kids are adapting, how they'll go right to the kitchen and they grab the Attack and VI. Another thing is that they make a little drink for sore throats and things like that. We're not doing anything over the counter, any prescriptions. It's all through natural means. So one drink that they like to mix is they'll get the teapot going, boil some water, and then they'll do a little mixture of Agricept, and that, I mean, we load it up. They'll be doing 10 to 20 drops in the bottom of a little teacup or coffee cup, some splashes of natural lime juice or lemon juice, a shot of apple cider vinegar, some real local raw honey, add the hot water, stir it all up so they get that soothing effect. They're getting the fighting off the microbiome effect, that comfort of the warm, hot liquid. Super, super healing. It tends to make them feel better pretty darn quick.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff available. There's more of this in the office, but obviously we can help you with dosing and just how to use it, applications and things like that. That's the details that we can help people with. But we just wanted to show you, like, there's a lot of options that you don't have to resort to run into the drugstore or thinking you need an antibiotic when most of the time you don't, and it's just you're going to damage your gut further, you're going to damage your immune system further. Really try to avoid that. I tell my clients now, it's like, really, you need to save antibiotics for if you're dying. Like if you're dying and you have a raging out of control infection, then yes. But other than that, you need to take the right steps to help, because that's just going to further damage your system. So hopefully that helps.
Bottom line, though, is take care of yourself. Start adding good things to all those elements of lifestyle. Remove the toxicities where you can. Get adjusted. It's proven to help boost your immune system.
So let's not make it that season. Let's just make it the fall season and the winter season, and we'll go about being happy. Cool?
Perfect. We will not see you next week. We are going to be in an airport. I don't know where at this time, but unless we surprise you. Maybe we'll surprise you from an airport
maybe we'll
somewhere.
Maybe we'll skip
We'll see. We might skip a week. But we'll see you next time. Let us know if you have questions.